Welcome back, everyone. Will Chill here alongside State as we continue to our last team match in the round robin stage of the KDL Preseason 1. It is Planet going up against ReBoot. Planet will be entering the stage first.
Yeah, Planet versus ReBoot, you know, two teams that are not going to the postseason, both eliminated, trying to end their season here on a high note. You know, something to look forward to in KDL Preseason 2 is how much these guys are going to improve over the coming weeks and months, but you know, very little at stake here in this match, to be frank about it. These players just kind of want to do their absolute best and, you know, lick their wounds, get ready to come back even stronger next time.
Well, and we got to remember, right, Planet and ReBoot also both not under a pro team banner, both on an amateur banner here. So obviously kind of what they show here could add up eventually to some sort of a, you know, calling or scouting or maybe even sort of support from another organization. I mean, that's things we have to consider. Just after that last match, a lot of the Korean community saying, how much do you want to bet, you know, Aura is going to get into a team banner, you know, pro team banner in the next preseason. So lots still to prove here for themselves. Every track counts. It goes down, you know, in the records. It'll go up on YouTube for everyone to continue to look at and check out. But of course, here's ReBoot, led by Kosu, the man who went to military, came back after having to take a break from competing, kind of as a veteran here on the side of ReBoot.
Yeah, three-time second-place finisher in Carter League in Kosu. Also, both these teams rolling five-man rosters with their own item aces. And both teams, you know, up to now have been struggling largely in speed mode. I mean, it hasn't been particularly good for them in item mode either, but the consecutive losses haven't been great, as Planet's pointing out right now. 4 consecutive losses have piled up. Head-on change of plan. Head-on charge of Planet. Charge of Planet
with nothing more to lose.
Charge of Planet with nothing more to lose. That went over my head on that one, but a change of plan is definitely in order here for Team Planet, though.
And just saying, you know, we'll still be the ones to take 5th place. Still a little bit of pride on the line amongst themselves here.
They care about those record books.
Hey, it's a battle of the mid here, but it's an important one for the racers themselves.
Battle of the mid. Oh, it's so good.
But, I mean, for me on Planet, I wonder if they do go to another ace match. Acid Fly, he's entered all the ace matches for them. Still hasn't gotten a win, right? I think that would be something that he would want to prove for himself if they do get there. And now here on the side of ReBoot, speed match was the biggest challenge and their last chance to overcome it indeed.
Yeah, ReBoot and Planet both 1-5 in sets in speed mode, and ReBoot in particular, 20% overall win rate in speed is not what you want to see. By far the worst in speed mode for any team so far here in the preseason. But I mean, to their credit, still not in last place, still in 5th. It goes to show how good they've been in item mode, you know, when it comes to it. And at least they're getting their round wins when it really matters, as they say. As it's the last one, we will show you our best. And, you know, really, that is what everyone is here to do for this final match. I mean, you can't go to the postseason anymore. There's very little left to play with except pride.
Yeah, again, and there's still preseason 2, right? We're barely at the halfway mark of the year, so still lots to prove for yourself. So let's take a look at the tracks. It's Zigzag, Winding Slopes. Geez, we are starting off tough in this one. Zigzag and Winding Slopes, and then Extreme Stadium, Terracotta Twister, and last, if we get there, will be Village Boom Hill Tunnel.
Anticlimactic Boom Hill Tunnel after 4 relatively tough maps. That should be a fun track list. I'm looking to see which of these teams, you know, is going to improve from the KDL Preseason 1 moving on to the KDL Preseason 2, specifically here in speed mode. So this is something that, you know, it's going to be fascinating to watch both of these teams go head-to-head. They really have not had a lot of success in speed mode overall, kind of like how Finale in match number 1 against Live Sandbox also has been struggling. You know, it does kind of feel like we have the haves and the have-nots here in the KDL Preseason when it does come to some of these specific modes. Well, let's see which of these teams is going to be ending the KDL Preseason on a high note as we get ready to go to track number 1 in speed mode. It is Forest Zigzag Timberland. All right, here we go. Planet versus ReBoot. We are off here in speed mode as Kosu and Looting leading the charge, but Minshik and Acid Fly quickly supplanting them in 1st and 2nd place, as it is a tight race here at the top. Planet getting the better end of the trade, though.
Yeah, now this, again, we always like to mention it when we come to Zigzag. While because of all the zigzags towards the end, there is a chance to overcome, but it's also such a tight track that if you're able to have, you know, more than one player, one racer at the front, you should be able to find a way to hold on to it.
Yeah, I can see Mari trying to do some body blocking right now on Looting and Load, but they will be able to pass him for now. Acid Fly is pulling away from the pack here for Team Planet, which is what they want to see. ReBoot trying to close the distance with the rest of their players, but so far Planet, I like their position. No, Scarlet and Mari, they're closing the distance right now, and if they come in here to support their lead racer, it should be a good spot for them. Let's see if they can do it.
Yeah, Load, of course, was kind of trying to make sure he paces his boost gauge as well to try to get into first. Now, if he can hold on to it, he is making it real tough for Acid Fly to recover, so he will eventually exit the zigzag on the first lap here in first place. Now, can Load and Ding find a way to hold on, because it's them versus 3 members of Planet as we enter lap 2.
And the team members here for Planet trying to work together to supplant these players at the top of the pack, but Ding and Load, they're just holding on, and the speed ace Acid Fly here for Planet is trying to close the distance with the greediest possible lines he can take, but he's just getting zoned out by Load right now, and Ding also doing a great job of body blocking. See Acid Fly actually trying to cut him off a little bit, provide some space here for Scarlet, but I mean, it feels like Planet isn't gaining enough ground here. ReBoot is holding on. Yeah,
Acid Fly trying to maybe bite off too much more than he could chew, but eventually Scarlet now put in a position to have to fight for first. He is doing just fine, he was rather on his boost gauge, but now he's gonna have to cut just a bit more before they enter the final zigzag, because at that point, the builds should be all relatively similar.
Yeah, and I mean, Load's been doing a great job so far. Scarlet and Mario are gonna have to do it. Excellent job of passing Looting here. They're trying their best to do it, but Looting with the body blocking has just been so clutch. Mari trying to find the inner line, unable to get it thus far. ReBoot, if they hold on to this first place position, it should be an easy win for them.
Yeah.
They just need to secure it. Looting continuing to hold the front.
Yeah, he will try to stay up front, and with Vincent locked in for 8th, ReBoot, as long as they can hold on to the 1-3, they should be fine, and they will be able to finish it with a hefty lead here in track 1.
Yeah, Looting barely able to hold in that first place. Mari did make a good run of it, but Load and Ding rounding out the top 4 there for Team ReBoot will deliver the win, 23-16. As that was a fun match. That was nice and close there.
I mean, listen, a lot of people recognizing, even in the previous match, Aura clearly having done a lot of practice in their speed mode and even item mode to really improve, and I think both these teams maybe just trying to prove that they're also on the upwards trajectory, right? Even if it is a battle just for kind of 5th place between the 2 teams, they want to prove that they do have that higher potential. I love that the players all try to pretend that they're shy.
Yeah. It does feel like these teams do have a lot of potential. I know Wolf has been talking a lot about Acid Fly, in particular the speed ace for Planet, and the potential that he has overall here at the KDL. But also you have guys on ReBoot like, Kosu coming back, 3-time 2nd place finisher in the Kart Rider League. Looting as well also. I believe he beat Hojin in an ace match, if I'm not mistaken, earlier in the preseason. I mean, these teams are not without talent. And I like what you said earlier heading into this match that, this is kind of also them showcasing their skills in case one of these pro teams potentially wants to bring, 1 or 2 of these players onto their roster later in Kart Rider Drift League.
Yeah, whatever they can get, whether it's individual career boosts or, them being able to really get under a team banner together, just trying to showcase what they have here on the official stage. Well, we're getting ready for track number 2. It's going to be mind-winding slopes between Planet and ReBoot. And we're off. ReBoot leading 1-0. Now, earlier in our second match of the night, we did see quite a few collisions here on Winding Slopes, namely on that kind of shortcut, trying to block each other, eventually greeting it too much, leading into a bit of a team kill there. Hopefully, neither team doing any sort of shenanigans there this time.
No, that felt like a little bit of a blip in the radar of the KWANGDONGFREECS trajectory here. And even for Planet and ReBoot, I don't think we're going to see quite the same cascade of failure, the little domino effect that we saw, although I say that
we're starting!
It's actually in the same spot, too, that we had
was in the same spot. Now here, no one trying to get too greedy there. And in fact, Acid Fly and Mari also kind of decreasing to different speeds to make sure they don't bump each other off. Now, very well aware that they have to get through the shortcut first and then try to catch up. Acid Fly does have a chance, but with the pillars here, he can't be too risky.
Yeah, these pillars are very dangerous, so Acidfly playing it nice and conservatively here. Not a lot of room to pass through these narrow passageways right now for Team Planet, as now coming into turns, they might be able to actually gain some ground, but for now, ReBoot, Kosu, and Ding doing a great job. Mari losing a bit of momentum there. Acidfly going to try and carry the torch and close the distance. 500 meters out, Trober. I think ReBoot's got the easy one, too.
They don't have the boost, right? Ding and Kosu well ahead in their boost meter, and that's just going to be a smooth 1-2 finish here for ReBoot, now leading 2-0 in speed mode.
ReBoot off to a nice start here against Team Planet, on their way to ending the KDL preseason on a high note. Just one track win away from sweeping speed mode here against their opponents. And I'm liking what we're seeing out of ReBoot, man. I mean, they're showing up to play. That last track felt like a very easy 1-2 for Kosu and Ding at the top. That's a new record, in fact, here on Winding Slopes.
Yeah, quite a fast time as well, going down to 1:17.797 from Kosu. So, in fact, now that this is the last match in the round robin, he'll be setting the record for that track here in the round robin stage of team mode.
Yeah,
the team matches here. Of course, we'll see if that changes in the postseason. But Kosu happy about that one. Just one more, he says, as they try to get a 3-0 sweep here in speed mode.
Let's see if Planet can fight back here. Don't want to go out 3-0 here in speed mode. You know, it's been a point of contention for Team Planet all preseason. As we get a quick recap here, this is actually Minchik.
Oh, he got
bumped by
a little bit by Acidfly. That's unfortunate, because if Minchik had been up there as well, that would have been 3 members where they could have tried to pressure Ding to make a mistake, create a forced error just a little bit. But afterwards, I mean, like you mentioned during the race, it's very tough to try to find an ideal scenario. And you would have had to be ahead in boost gauge, which they weren't as well. So all things against Planet. Let's see if they can bring it back here as we get to track number 3. 2-0 lead for ReBoot in speed mode as we enter Glacier Extreme Stadium.
Here we go, ReBoot, one track win away from sweeping speed mode here. Planet fighting for dignity, fighting for pride, trying to keep the fight going here in the KDL preseason as they want to go on a high note. But once again, Kosu off to a great start here in track number 3.
Yeah, Ding there to support, as he always has been in that previous track as well. Even Looning on top, and Kosu's so far ahead. Now all Looning or Ding has to do is really just make sure that the other players cannot pass them off of a drift, and that way they won't ever be able to catch up to Kosu.
Yeah, ReBoot also was quite far ahead in Team Boost as well coming into these turns. So Planet, there's a large gap between top 2 here for ReBoot and the rest of the players here for Planet. So if you're Looning and Load right now, you're just going to be playing defense. You see Looning trying to do some body blocking, coming into the hairpin, turns it all! He catches one of the players there for Planet, taking all the momentum out. Scarlet will be able to pass, but at what cost right now? As Kosu and Ding, it feels like, are running away with this, and we're only on lap number 1.
Yeah, I mean, Scarlet, he does have a shot if he can continue to stay ahead in that boost gauge, but Load's already caught up. Now Scarlet, not only does he have to try to catch up, to do that he would have to go for extra cuts just to make sure he's always ahead in boost, but that means he's gonna have to contest against Load as well. There's just so much on his mind. Meanwhile, Kosu and Ding, they're just trying to set another record here.
Yeah, it feels like there's almost no chance here for Team Planet with Kosu and Ding as far ahead as they are. I mean, Scarlet, he's trying his best to close the distance. A couple more turns coming in, but I mean, Load is just causing so many problems. And even Looning here in the 6th rank.
Oh, it's not looking good, right? I mean, the one shot you would have is to get ahead, try to get an aggressive stop, bump people off on the last jump, something like that. But even Ding is just so far ahead, and now Load making sure Scarlet has no chance. Salt in the wound.
Yeah, adding insult to injury here. Looning.
Trying to greed just a bit more for an extra highlight there from Looning. Not going to come to fruition, but...
Yeah, so that's going to be another 1-2 win here for ReBoot as they're having a bit of fun with it here in speed mode. You can see them all smile. And it's a much-needed win there for ReBoot. It's only their 2nd set win in speed mode throughout the entire KDL preseason. Unfortunately for Planet, they're going to go down 6-20 in rounds on speed mode throughout the KDL preseason. Not what you want to see. It's going to be a point that they're going to have to try and focus on improving, but ReBoot off to a great start here today, showing a lot of promise.
because of the shenanigans at the end, we actually see 2 Rangers retired as well, which we never see here in team mode, but you love to see it. I mean, the players on the side of ReBoot having fun. But yeah, I mean, they talked about it in their kind of team profile, saying, you know what, we just need to make sure we're continuing to improve on speed mode, and they've proven it. Coming into this match, they had the worst track record overall in terms of rounds taken here in speed mode. In the KDL, Planet just a bit ahead, but now it's going to be ReBoot who takes down Planet in speed mode, and now once again it comes down to the item ace of Planet Lens to try to bring things back.
Lenjois, as they call him sometimes. Play on the word bonjour. Man, I was having fun when I heard that for the first time.
Yeah,
when
no,
PD
it's
came
good.
in. Pure going to be swapped in here for ReBoot as well. The item ace for Team ReBoot, as load will be swapped out. ReBoot looking to close this one out with a 2-0 here. Just 3 tracks away from, adding a nice finish here to their KDL Preseason. Nice recovery. You win a nice round here in speed mode, coming out item, potentially win another one. You're going to go home happy getting ready for the next preseason.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if they can just secure that 5th place and can say, all right, if we just continue to improve, we can contest for the postseason in the next one. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to kick things off on a fairly simple track, Icebreaker Pass. Of course, just that one tunnel near the end is going to be the real contention point. And then Mushroom Caves, Magma Cavern, Pharaoh's Pass, and if we get there, World Tour London Night.
Yeah, both of these teams overall have been, a little bit better at item mode than speed mode going through the KDL preseason. Planet actually has one of the higher win rates here in item mode. Up to this point, I think nearly 60%. So there is potential for an ace match here, especially swapping in, Lens, their item ace.
Yeah,
I'm sure his IGLing is going to be a boon.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to need it a lot. That's a little drawing of Minsick there. I can't really tell you how accurate that was, but we are going to go into item mode. Planet trying to crawl back in here. ReBoot trying to finish a swift victory as we go into Glacier Icebreaker Pass. And we're off. Of course, we just had this track right there at the end of the previous match as well, so fresh on our memories. But just as a reminder, if anyone's joining in right now, one of the biggest things about this track, of course, is that little tunnel at the end. So the Angels may be a bit more crucial because barricades alone could also cause a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Angel Shields power through those barricades, can come through in the clutch as we saw before. As Magnets, not as useful as they can be. Body blocking a lot more reliable there. And the narrow passageway up that tunnel as we see Acid Fly boosting a little bit, getting ahead of the pack for now.
Oh, okay, just a nice little try to catch to see if he can dodge any sort of attack there, but eventually we'll just take that water wisp. But of course, 3 tracks, not too big of a concern just yet. Now, a couple of magnets being saved up, but again, this is one of those tracks where you can't entirely rely on magnets to swing you around the opponents. That ending is very narrow, right? No upper or lower, no wide section. Yes. So you're gonna have to find a different answer.
Yeah, the timing on magnets has to be a little bit different. You usually want to pop those a bit earlier heading into the end of the track and potentially save a nitrous maybe for that final tunnel. As it's a little bit different than we see in a lot of these item maps, but as it is right now, still you see the value of the magnet even when it is less useful on a map like this, with almost every single player here in the lobby holding onto one. We actually have just Lens and one other player for Team ReBoot just avoiding those magnets for now, opting for support. It's actually Ding, so we'll see what these item lineups look like heading into this. Scarlet will swap out the rocket for a shield.
Yeah, tried to see if he could land it, actually misses the angle just a bit, but eventually he just wanted to cycle through anyway. Now we're getting near towards the end. Dodges the water bomb, slowing down. But here's the thing, neither team having a pure dominance, so they're not going to be able to just crowd the tunnel and eventually block the rest out. Lots of boosts on the board. Looting with a magnet and boost. Ding trying to just stay ahead with double boosts.
Yeah, double boost here for Ding. He pops the first one, picks up another boost right there from the item, but he gets
the
caught.
bomb.
All right, Looting right now in front, but he blocks Acid Fly. He blocks Acid Fly, and Kozu comes in on the left side. All smiles as ReBoot takes track number 1 here against Planet in item mode.
But what a great setup, right? The double boost from Ding is he's just really acting as the pull here for Looting as well. Eventually he gets hit by the bomb, but Looting is able to shoot forward. He gets UFO'd, but he's just in position to block as Kosa will be able to coast into the finish line. In fact,
Nice.
That's just going to be a first-place finish for ReBoot, leading 1-0 now in item mode.
Yeah, good win there for ReBoot, man. I'm liking the way they were able to kind of levy responsibility there at the end of the track. Just, you know, coming in with a clutch body block there guarantees that Kosu can come in from the left side with a win. And yeah, fantastic teamwork all around. I mean, they're kind of carrying the momentum from speed mode here into item mode.
Yeah, Ding just trying to slow things down here, try for some extra moves as he's going to get hit by the Wisp. Let's see what we missed this section here. We're focused on the beginning here. Ding's just constantly trying to block people off. I see.
Trying to cause problems.
That's
for a second,
Ding highlight.
For a second, I thought I was like, wait, we're going way too slow. I thought it was lap number 3. I was like, why are we looking at a highlight from lap 2?
Yeah. Oh, that sign was so funny. It's a meme in Korea based on one of the cartoons that's just like, oh, like I'm gonna, leave the world now. All the troubles on this world, and I'm gonna leave this planet. But just cheering on for both teams, saying they're gonna leave the round of 8 now because they're done in the round robin anyway. Saying goodbye to preseason 1 here on their final match here in the round robin stage. Cheering for both teams in a sense.
That does take the pressure off both these teams. They would love to end on a high note here with a victory. Let's see if Team ReBoot can keep the momentum as we move on to Forest Mushroom Caves. ReBoot up 1-0 in item mode so far. I think they haven't dropped a track here against Planet. Just complete dominance right out of the gates.
Yeah, we do see just a little bit of mind games right from the start too. Just Scarlet having to buy more time to secure double weapons. Pure been playing with that Chef Boss skin as well. His hat's just so big.
Hell, the item mode is slow enough at the beginning that we could actually talk about this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, like there is a lot, right? There's a lot of character, not just in the actual characters, but in the cart bodies as well and whatnot in Kart Rider Drift. And it's nice to be able to appreciate that a little bit here in item mode.
Yeah, speed mode usually, I mean, we do have some players rock, the tour bus occasionally, but it is very much minecart just because the hitbox is so small. You're able to take those grittier lines and potentially get griefed less by collisions as you go through. But, here in item mode, it's really all about team communication and item setup as Kozu hits a banana.
Yeah, trying to find that one opening, and that's the one with the banana right there. So not going to find his answer on that one, but Scarlet just staying up front without too much trouble. Does have double Angel. I can't imagine he's going to keep both of those here towards the end. He can start to cycle through those, and, I mean, they have other members as well. There is a UFO for Lens as well.
Ton of Angels. That UFO does get popped. I think catching Ding, if I'm not mistaken. Or, no, not actually Ding here, but...
Well, Kosu now with an Angel and a shield, so he is scot-free of any attacks. Now Water Bomb's coming in. Everyone's got Angels on their side. Lens does have one more Water Bomb, but it's going to be a tough one to hit. He's actually going to fall way behind.
And Kosu right now, the lead racer here for ReBoot, picks up a banana. Not really what you want here on the second lap. He's just going to throw that down. Does not connect with any players here for Planet. And now Minchik holding on to the Nitrous and the Angel Shield. Finish line only 500 meters away. Acid Fly also. Nitrous and a Magnet. So good positioning here. He's going to body block. Getting ready to pop that Magnet. Here we go.
Here they all come, but Lens as well with a Nitrous and a Magnet. And Planet setting themselves up to secure victory on their own. Not bothered by any items coming over on the side of ReBoot.
No, ReBoot, it felt like they didn't really have that many useful items there in the bag at the very end. It seems like Planet
very defensive, right?
Yeah, a lot of Angel Shields. Planet just seems like they had the perfect combo. Even if Planet Lens wasn't able to finish in first, Acid Fly would have finished right behind him as trying to tie this one up 1-1. Planet fighting back, finally getting on the board here.
Yeah, just well played here from Planet. But that's the thing, right? These are the things that we have to start considering. Planet, they were the ones initially with one of the players, I believe Scarlet, way up front with double Angels. They start to cycle through those real quick and take the risk of having one opening where they're trying to get a better item for that finish and create a win condition. Meanwhile, ReBoot trying to play it safe, just try to play defensive, have only one person with a Magnet. It was not enough as the extra Nitrous comes in. Play for Planet. We'll see if they can continue it to a streak, maybe take us to another ace match as we go into track 3 of item mode between Planet and ReBoot. It's Mine Magma Cavern. Planet trying to redeem themselves here in item mode, tied 1-1. If they can take it to 3 points, we will be going to that ace match between the two teams.
Yeah, no ace matches yet today, man. Feeling a little bit down about that. The matches have been very exciting, but I would love to finish, you know, the main stage here of the KDL preseason on an ace match, especially between these two teams that up until this point they haven't had too much really going for them.
Yeah,
build some hype, have some fun.
Exactly. And personally, I mean, nothing against ReBoot, but I just feel for AcidFly, man. He's been going out of these ace matches. He hasn't been able to get a win. I think just even getting one more chance, he would like nothing more than that.
Absolutely. I mean, to prove yourself as the speed ace on your team, you know, get one more chance, especially here where the pressure's kind of off. You know, you're playing for 5th place, but you're out of the postseason, right?
Exactly. Yeah, just have one more chance to say that, you know what, I could have won any of those and try to get it against ReBoot here would feel nice.
It would feel nice. As AcidFly now in 2nd place here for Planet as we enter lap number 2 here on Magma Cavern. AcidFly gonna boost up a little bit, have a shield to block that water wisp as Kosu gets abducted there by a UFO, but still able to body block AcidFly quite a bit. Nice card control there by Kosu.
Yeah, we're going to see Lens just go through, cycle his items. Meanwhile, AcidFly is keeping that EMP. He's going to try to cycle through for another item, gets an Angel Force Troubles, and Ding just falls right into the lava.
Yep, Ding falls into the lava, but yep. These things happen here in item mode. It's not the deal breaker that it is in speed mode. I'm sure we'll see Ding back in the running any second now here in the middle of the pack is a Planet trying to solidify their position in the front, but looking at the item list right now, a lot of Angel Shield and their lead racers. AcidFly actually holding on to 2. Not what you want here in lap number 3.
Yeah, now Scarlet, he already used one magnet. He's trying to catch back up. He's way up here, and now he's in 1st place. He has another boost and a magnet as well. And Minson with a boost as well. They could try to double team this all the way, get the 1-2 finish, make sure one of them gets in 1st place.
Yeah, let's see if they do it. Minshik making a run for it right now. Water balloon coming in. Actually, no, it's going to be Scarlet that comes through there.
Oh, pulls one of the members of ReBoot right back as they try to go up that ramp. And it's going to be Planet Scarlet finishing in 1st place, bringing a 2nd track win here in item mode.
Yeah, Pure and Kosu, they made that one really close, but Scarlet able to come through in the clutch there for Team Planet as they just had the combination of items they needed to propel themselves across that finish line. Nice win there for Team Planet. 1 track win away now from forcing that ace match.
Oh, we could see it. We could see it, and it'd be a nice kind of heroic finish for either team, right?
Yeah.
If they can go to an ace match, one of them kind of takes the glory of saying we still got that last win in our last match. Now we can prep for preseason number 2. Of course, neither team in the running no longer. AcidFly on the camera right now, still kind of nervous. I think he's probably thinking ahead, like, even if we do go to ace match, it's probably me. Like, I'm going to get this win. Lots of pressure on that guy.
Yeah. I do hope he gets another chance to prove himself, you know. I mean, it does suck to go out twice to try to deliver a win for your team there and, you know, come up short both times. But we'll see if he gets that chance. I mean, we're only 1 track away.
Yeah, it's very much doable. Of course, the next one we'll be going over to the desert theme here. And now just a fan from ReBoot cheering for Looning. We'll see if that can make a difference here as we go to track number 4 in item mode. It's Desert Pharaoh's Pass.
Match point here in item mode. Planet up 2-1 over ReBoot, looking to win that last track to force the ace match and potentially finish their KDL preseason run with 1 more win.
Yeah, we can tell early on, nobody got items they really wanted. Everyone just cycling through as fast as possible. As you see all the bombs and all the wisps come out. But now, of course, we've seen Pharaoh's Pass quite a few times today, both in speed and item mode. So fresh on our minds, and you know, water bombs can do a decent amount of damage, but of course it really comes down to these 2 jumps near the end. I mean, you can really cause chaos with the magnets, try to slow someone down where they drop down. They can't really make the entire jump over.
Yeah, UFOs as well, so we'll have to keep tabs on exactly what attacks are going to be coming through in lap number 3 if teams get in position for that. As you know, here on lap number 2, there is a lot of track left to be played. You can see that no one really has the item setup that they want. Exactly. AcidFly actually the only racer right now holding on to a magnet because we have a ton of rockets on the board.
Yeah, they're just going to be fired off. Of course, Angels being used against the Lightning Bolt, but that means there's plenty of openings for the rest of the attacking items. Now, ReBoot's actually doing quite a good job of making sure that they have a nice lead, and then they have magnets and a nitrous on Kosu as well, so they can always set up for a double team if they want.
Yeah, Yeah, it looks like they might be gunning for that here as we're getting ready to finish lap number 2. And Lens, Minchick, and Acidfly, though, all here are the top 3 positions. Acidfly also holding on to a Nitrous and a Magnet. Could be another one of those players to watch out for who might be going for that deadly combination. Actually, Ding getting denied items there by Lens.
Yeah, so Lens, he just gets a banana, but he does get to keep 1 shield, so he's going to be able to try to vie for a spot. Now, Pure, Angel, and Nitrous in hand. Acidfly, he's the one with the Nitrous and the Magnet, so he's going to lead way for Lens or an opponent where he can latch on, try to overtake them near the end.
Acidfly definitely in a good position, but a lot of players actually right now holding on to both Magnets and Nitrous, and I think we have 4 or 5 players as it's going to come down.
It's going to be a
mess
here.
Jumps.
Yeah, Kosu trying to make sure he blocks off, takes aggro for his teammates, and Scarlet actually getting dragged all the way back. Same with Minchick, and Kosu eventually making way for Ding. Not affected by anything, just cruising through at the end.
No, man, I felt like all those Magnets popped, and Team Planet, they just lost all momentum.
Yeah.
Those Magnets just sucked it up, and ReBoot, I mean, it's all about who crosses the finish line first, but ReBoot actually delivering a 1-2-3 finish here in item mode just goes to show, how well that lineup was working for them there at the end of track number 4. Is we're gonna go to a track 5 tied 2-2 coming up here in a minute.
Oh boy, I mean, ReBoot, they really want to close things out, right? Just get a nice clean victory. They wanted to improve on their speed mode. They proved that earlier by taking a 3-0 sweep against Planet. Now, if they can close out the item mode, I think they'll have a, they'll end on a higher note, right? Even though they don't go to the postseason.
Higher note.
Yeah. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. Meanwhile, Planet, I mean, they just want one more chance. Kosu says no, though. He's listening to me. He says no.
No ace match, says Kosu, as they want to win it right here, right now in item mode. Let's see if they can do it as we move on to World Tour London Night.
And we're off set point here. Of course, match point for ReBoot to see if they can close things out in item mode or if we will go to an ace match. Planet just trying to fight for another shot. London Night, one of those maps with actual map track obstacles in those buses, so we will have to watch out. We have seen players get carried away by them, so
yeah,
it's something you have to watch out for.
It has happened, and even in item mode, that can be a problem. And there also are some shortcuts here that might play into effect a bit coming down the stretch here with Magnets and Nitrous.
Yeah, both right there on the bridge and, of course, here on the Ferris wheel as well. Now, the thing about the Ferris wheel, there are a couple little bumps here as you go through the gas station or the toll gate, I guess. So you have to watch out for that one.
All right, Looning going to pick up another item, gets a second magnet. So a lot of magnets here for Looning.
Yeah, that'll just allow him to contend for anything as he cycles through if he so wishes, but doesn't look like there's any need for that for the time being, so he's happy to just stay clear, straight clear rather, of any water bombs. Of course, a very wide track here, so not going to see water bombs barriers do too much damage on any of these laps.
Yeah, water bomb's probably going to be very ineffective, and
as we say that,
Lens gets hit by a water bomb. I mean, it's only lap number 2, The way that these things generally tend to go is, on lap number 1 and lap number 2, I mean, you're just kind of setting yourself up in position for lap 3, right? Rarely do you run away with one.
And I just realized that last section of the track is not a toll gate, it's a ferry.
Wait, is it? I always thought it was a toll gate in my head.
I just realized that. But anyway, yeah, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to the Tour of London later as we are on the last lap. Taking a look at the arsenals, Looning does have a UFO and a magnet. Double boost on the side of Kosu. He is in prime position to pull for his teammates. A couple magnets in store for his teammates as well. He's already up top.
Yeah, Kosu on that short's going to be going as fast as he possibly can. We'll get that boost here heading into the Ferris wheel right now as ReBoot. They might be winning this one with a 2-0.
Yeah, they're just running away with it. Looning is already magneted and no one's in place to catch up. But the barricade!
The barricades and the Angel Shield and Planet! Minchick is gonna force an ace match with a barricade of all things!
Oh, but that barricade was placed so well, because here's the thing. The rest of the track is so wide, you have to put it on the corner so it's as unpredictable as it could be. Because I was looking at the arsenal, I was like, okay, there's no magnets, there's no UFO. I guess there is a barricade in my mind, like, that's not worth mentioning. Boy, was it crucial.
I was looking at the same thing. I'm like, yeah, there's no comeback mechanic here. There's no nitrous, there's no magnet, but boy, we got fooled there as the barricade comes through. Sapped the momentum from ReBoot.
Wow.
And Minchick able to finish in first place. And we finally have an ace match today. And
Give it to AcidFly. You got to give AcidFly another shot. He has entered 3 ace matches. I mean, that's the thing. Planet has gone down to the ace match 3 times, and they've lost all of them. If they had won any one of those, they would have already had a second win on the board, but 3 times for AcidFly. He's lost to Jung, Sungbin, and Percent. Obviously, all very reputable players, but I mean, I'm sure if you're AcidFly, maybe it's too much pressure, but if your teammates just encourage, just give him another chance. I think it'd be worth watching. Now here at the end, I mean, the water bomb on top as well, right? It's just guaranteed that he gets hit by something. A great setup here from Planet.
Yeah, Planet coming through the clutch for the win as these teams decide to or continue to confer and get ready to decide on who their ace will be here in the final match of the night. And what a good way to end it. It's going to be Chobra, an ace match at last.
All right, see who enters. Looks like it should be AcidFly. Looks like he's trying to get ready for it, so we'll keep our eye on that.
Everybody's laughing a little bit.
I mean, I think it's probably the conversation is AcidFly's like, no, it's too much pressure, but his team is like, no, it's fine, just do another one, just encourage him. We are going to go down to Gold Rush, so quite a wide track. It's not going to be too much of a physical scuffle, but more about your builds here, right? Just making sure that you understand your opportunities to overtake each other on some of these wider turns, and then a couple of those 90-degree tracks as well. The big one, of course, being kind of that U-turn right at the end of the track on the right side.
Yeah, should be a fun one. Should be a fast one, too, so downhill. Sometimes these ace matches, they get a little bit slower because you're not able to build that team boost gauge, but I guarantee you these guys are going to be speeding through as we see the players, and yeah, it's going to be AcidFly again here against Load. Finally gets one last chance to prove himself.
All right, the 4th new opponent for AcidFly. Can he finally get that ace match win? Meanwhile, Load, his first time here in the ace match. Before, it has been Looning and Ding. For ReBoot, Looning did win against Hojin. Ding lost to Jung, but everybody loses to Jung, so we don't have to talk about that. But Load now gets a chance against AcidFly, the speed ace here for Planet. Who will take their last match victory? Planet, will they be able to claw back in the standings, or will it be ReBoot? Ladies and gentlemen, ace match in the last team match of the round robin in preseason 1 of the KDL. It's Mind Gold Rush. Minecart's at the ready as we go down the Gold Rush. Planet versus ReBoot, AcidFly versus Load.
All right, both players trying to build their gauge as much as possible right now. Load with an early lead, but AcidFly building that boost gauge as fast as he can. A little bit ahead right now in Nitro tempo. Should allow him to pass with some good drafting.
Yeah, I like the build here from AcidFly. Just sacrifices the lead early on to get the extra cut, and now he's always going to be ahead in boost. See what the adjustment is here from Load.
Yeah, Load doing a nice job, though, of zoning him out, body blocking him, trying to prevent him from gaining any momentum, but actually AcidFly, with that boost, able to get in first.
All right, so AcidFly now, all he has to do is try to stay ahead. Of course, he does have to worry about kind of these turns and the lines you're taking on these wider U-turns. There's going to be another one in a row as they go through the teleporter, see what the prep is. AcidFly loses the lead just a bit.
Yeah, AcidFly with a little bit of a hiccup there. He's going to see if he can try and pass here on the outer line coming into this turn.
All right, now they can just both cut for each other. AcidFly and Load just trading back and forth on their boost gauges. Now AcidFly, the build change he had in lap 1, no longer in effect. Now you just have to be able to get ahead and make sure that you're entering the teleporter at the better positioning so you can get that U-turn at a tighter line.
It still feels like it was a little bit ahead here in Nitrous, but I mean, Load just taking that tight inner line, able to bump AcidFly out of the way, able to take the first place position as we come down into this tunnel. AcidFly trying to draft in close distance. Will Load be able to block him out, though?
AcidFly, he forces him! I was just about to say the pressure from AcidFly to try to cut close to the pillars, and that forces Load to try to block him off. AcidFly just backs off, and Load runs into his own demise. AcidFly already just taking the safer route. Down below, goes into the teleporter. He's way ahead. There's really no chance for Load. He's out of Nitrous as well. AcidFly finally getting the ever-elusive ace match win for Planet.
4th time is the charm here for AcidFly as he pushes his opponent into the wall. And you can see the relief on his face. His teammates are so happy for him as Planet's going to come through with a win here to close out the round robin here of the KDL preseason. AcidFly just so happy. And I mean, it must be such a relief. I mean, you came up all preseason, your team put their faith in you, and you tried your best, but you let them down. And now finally you prove yourself here in the last chance. A great way to end the story here in the KDL Preseason 1 here for Team Planet.
I mean, I think a very sweet ending here for Planet, even though they are not able to enter the postseason. Asifly gets redemption. Now, Load obviously doesn't feel great, but we saw him smiling on the camera, just kind of accepting that, you know what, I made a crucial mistake. What can you do? It happens when it's a 1v1. And, of course, he is a speed ace in general, but that was his first ace match here in the KDL on the side of ReBoot. So many more tries to look forward to in the future of ReBoot as well.
Yeah, and ReBoot, they came out with a vengeance here today. They played really well, winning 3-0 in speed mode. Item mode, it was a battle through and through. And I mean, even the ace match up until that one mistake there by Load, it could have been anybody's game coming into the final turns there. So, a great match here for ReBoot. I feel like both teams, they can feel pretty good about this one. It's a nice way to kind of wrap up the package that is KDL Preseason 1. And, you know, they're going to go home, lick their wounds, come back KDL Preseason 2, and, you know, maybe they'll be able to make the postseason.
Yeah, absolutely, which, I mean, as far as I know, Preseason 2, it's not going to be a long break after the postseason ends. We'll be getting right back into gear. I mean, there's plenty of KDL throughout the year, so we can look forward to see these racers on stage soon enough. But I just want to give a shout out to Asifly. I think the biggest change we saw there was he understands that he can't just win off of the mechanics alone, right? You have to be able to apply some of the mind games and the pressure as well. So him pressuring to see if there's a reaction from Load to try to block him, it works out. Load makes a mistake, and Asifly, I think now getting a taste of that victory of saying, okay, this is how I got to start playing my ace matches, is more than just the builds and the mechanics.
Yeah, and oftentimes in games, I mean, this could be the kind of thing where a mental block forms.
Yes.
Even though you have the raw skill and it works in practice. If you just consistently lose, you know, if you're playing an RTS game, if you always lose against one race or one civilization, or in a speed game, if you always lose in the 1v1 on the main stage, these mental blocks can form. And so for Asifly, I mean, this is not something that's going to be lingering on his mind anymore.
Yes. Yes, and that means we can look forward to Asifly continue to grow as well as a racer. But again, I mean, looking at the ace matches, I think that's why, you know, we praise Jung so much, is because not only are his mechanics good, does he have his own builds, but on top of that, the mind games he plays, right, and kind of the gambles he plays as well. I mean, and trying to stop against these other players, and usually he's right. He is able to block off opponents as well. I mean, that's why he's unbeaten. That's just what it takes. I mean, it's just a whole nother level of kart rider when it comes down to those 1v1s.
Yeah, those 1v1s. I mean, they're so exciting to see, and it's kind of crazy when you have, you know, 2 best-of-5s and have it go to 1-1, and then to have everything be decided by a one-on-one battle to the death.
Yep, on one track, right?
One track. I mean, you don't have like a team nitros gauge. It's not like if you make a mistake in speed, like a team match. Yeah. In team speed, you know, you could fall back and be like, okay, well, I'll try to keep my opponents in position 7 and 8. I can at least play a sweeping role, even if I'm a runner or an ace.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it just comes down to those like 90 to 120 seconds, right? And, I mean, if you make a crucial mistake like that, like Load did, then, I mean, that's unfortunate. You're kind of out of the race. But if not, again, it's just constant going back and forth. But ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at how the matches have happened so far as we wrap up the round-robin stage of the team matches here in KDL Preseason 1. Our first match of the night was FINALEe-sports versus Live Sandbox.
FINALEe-sports almost able to force an ace match against Live Sandbox with a great run. Unable to pull the rabbit out of the hat, though, as Live Sandbox solidifies their position in Rank 2 here in the KDL Preseason. So that's going to be them going up against the KWANGDONGFREECS in the postseason. Should be a really fun match to watch. Yep,
Live Sandbox basically putting themselves in the position they would want. Now, meanwhile, speed of the KWANGDONGFREECS, their first loss on their last team match against an Aura, who clearly prepared all hell against KWANGDONGFREECS in both speed and item mode.
Both speed and item went to track 5, so KWANGDONGFREECS, they gave it their all, but that ever-elusive perfect season run, evading their grasp yet again, as they never made it happen in Kart Rider League. They were hoping to go 7-0 here in the KDL Preseason. Unable to make it happen, though. They will still be the first seed coming into the postseason, but it'll be a 6-1 first seed, not a 7-0.
Yeah, and I think also just the fact that if Aura can prep that much and, you know, give you a run for your money, if not beat you like this, I mean, when you're rematched against Live Sandbox, KWANGDONGFREECS are going to have to prep everything they have, because, you know, a lot of people, even in the Korean community, are already saying, right as this match ended earlier tonight, they're just saying, right, postseason, it's anyone's, right? It's anyone's up for grabs. Meanwhile, of course, our last match of the round robin was between Planet and ReBoot, 2 teams that did not make it into the postseason, but just trying to prove themselves one last time, and it goes to Planet in the form of an ace match.
Yeah, and what a good way to finish it here for Team Planet, and also their ace Acid Fly is, you know, he's never not going to have this lingering on his mind through, you know, the weeks leading up to the KDL Preseason 2. He's just going to be able to, you know, take a breather, be like, okay, I can still play the game. My team can still put their trust in me.
Exactly.
I can relax. I can trust myself.
I mean, that's important, right? I mean, sometimes that type of kind of trauma starts to stick with you as a player in certain scenarios. So just happy to see that Planet, they are able to still hold their heads up high as they go into the offseason for them. They are done here in Preseason 1. Same thing with ReBoot. Excited to see, though, both these teams, I think these are the two teams that really, they have this potential that they haven't quite been able to dig up yet and polish. Curious to see how that changes as they come back for Preseason 2.
I feel like we saw a little bit of that potential there in the speed mode. You know, they had a really nice 3-0 win here. As we look at the final overall standings here at the KDL Preseason, KWANGDONGFREECS in first place with a +20 round differential. Live Sandbox right behind them in second with +21. Aura in third and Rox in fourth. And Rox, although top 4, has a negative map differential just because of how clutch their ace match performance has been from Jung. Undefeated. Every single win so far that Rox has had has been on the back of Jung.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Does that legend continue? Or, you know, will Aura even let them get there? I mean, Aura's clearly been working on both speed and item mode. I feel like we've seen a renewed Aura today. So Rox, they're probably studying the tapes right now, and you got to pick and choose, right? Your item mode's always been so weak. Do you just really try to make sure you win the speed mode, or do you also try to balance yourselves out? I'm not so sure, but meanwhile, here's the other crazy story. If Sandbox hadn't gotten a clean 2-0, Aura could have very well gotten second place as well, right? With a clean 2-0 win against KWANGDONGFREECS today. So Sandbox probably also thinking, all right, we're not out of the woodworks yet. We got to make sure we beat the Freaks to get into the grand finals first.
Yeah, absolutely. Those top 2 seeds will have an extra life going into the winners final. As those bottom 2 seeds shown on screen, Aura versus Rox will play in a do-or-die match to play against the loser of upper bracket. That will be on Saturday, 6 p.m., same time, same place.
When we come back here for the weekend, and this is going to be, I mean, both these matches are going to be so close. I think both of them will be full of highlights. I mean, just look at the lineups already. Aura, Rox, KWANGDONGFREECS, Live Sandbox. Plenty of things to look out for, and as you mentioned, State, Aura and Rox, they're fighting for their tournament lives here to have a chance to get to the grand finals. If not, one of them, their journey will end here in the Preseason 1 of Kartrider Drift League.
And these should be just both fantastic matches. I feel like every team kind of has their own identity here in the top 4. I mean, the Freaks, obviously, the Speed Demon, they did lose today, but they do still feel like the best team here, the KDL right now. Live Sandbox, the only team with a global player on their roster. Also very good at item mode. Rox Esports just on the back of their ace Jong has been especially good. And Aura, up until now, they've been item mode specialists, but also in speed, just so good.
Yeah, and also just to note, of course, while we only have these 2 matches, they should be best of 7 here as we go into the postseason. So again, it's not going to be any shortage of races here at the KDL as we enter the postseason for the team matches.
Best of 7 should be a lot of fun, man.
Man, can you imagine though? Like it's all best of 7s, and it always goes down to the wire for Rox, and it still goes to an ace match after like 14 tracks of speed and item mode. And then Jong has to still win. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Again, storylines for all 4 teams, ladies and gentlemen. You won't want to miss it. Save the date. It's on Saturday, May 6th. That's it for us today. We'll return on that Saturday for the team match postseason here at the KDL. We'll see you then.